You're at the grocery store checkout, and you realize you forgot to pack lunch for work tomorrow. So you grab one of those pre-made sandwiches and a small bag of chips from the cooler section near the register. That'll be $8.50. Meanwhile, your coworker bought a loaf of bread, some deli meat, and a big bag of chips on Sunday for $12 and made lunches for the entire week. You just paid almost as much for one meal as they paid for 5. And here's the thing, this isn't a one-time mistake. This is happening to you every single day in ways you don't even notice, and it's quietly keeping you broke. My name is Matthew, and I spend way too much time thinking about why some people stay poor even when they're working incredibly hard. If you're someone who feels like you're doing everything right, you're working hard, you're not buying stupid stuff, but you still can't seem to get ahead, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Look, I need you to understand something right now. Being poor is expensive. And I don't mean that in some abstract way. I mean literally mathematically expensive. There's an actual tax on being poor in America, except it's not collected by the IRS. It's collected by every business, bank, and creditor you interact with. According to a 2023 study by the Brookings Institution, low-income Americans pay approximately $40,000 to $45,000 more over their lifetimes in fees, interest, and higher prices compared to middle-income Americans for the exact same goods and services. That's not because they're buying more stuff. It's because they're paying more for everything. Here's what most people don't realize. The entire financial system is designed to reward people who already have money and punish people who don't. About 6% of American households, roughly 7.1 million people, don't have a bank account. Now, you might be thinking, well, that's their choice. But here's the thing. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, maintaining a minimum balance to avoid monthly fees is actually impossible. Let's do the math on this. If you don't have a bank account, you're cashing your paychecks at places like Check and Go. They typically charge 1% to 3% of the check amount. So if you're making $30,000 a year, that's $300 to $900 annually just to access your own money. Without a bank account, you're paying bills with money orders. Those cost $1 to $2 each. If you got 5 bills a month, that's another $60 to $120 a year. And you can't use online bill pay, so you're paying for stamps or late fees because the money order didn't arrive on time. We're at $480 to $1,140 per year in extra costs just for not having a bank account. Now, maybe you do have a bank account, but if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you know about overdraft fees. Banks make approximately $8 billion per year in overdraft fees. And who's paying these? A 2021 study found that 9% of account holders pay 84% of all overdraft fees. These are people who are already struggling. You've got $12 in your account. Your $15 gym membership hits. Boom. Overdraft fee, $35. Then your Spotify for $11 hits. Another $35. Then your phone bill for $80. Another $35. You're now $105 in the hole in overdraft fees alone, on top of the $94 you actually spent. You just paid a 112% interest rate on forgetting to check your balance. The average person who regularly pays overdraft fees pays about $450 per year. That's $450 that could be building an emergency fund, which will prevent you from overdrafting in the first place. Do you see the trap? Now let's talk about credit, because this is where the poor tax becomes absolutely insane. Your credit score determines how much you pay for car loans, mortgages, insurance, sometimes even apartment rentals. And if you're poor, you probably have bad credit. The average interest rate on a new car loan in 2023 was about 7.2% for excellent credit. For poor credit, it was 14.2%. Let's see what that means. You need a used car for $20,000 to get to work. With good credit, it's 7.2% over 60 months. Total paid is $1.23, $940 with bad credit at 14.2%. Total paid is $28,080. You just paid $4,140 more for the exact same car. That's the poor tax. On a $300,000 mortgage over 30 years. At 6.5%, good credit total interest paid is $382, $560. At 8.5%, poor credit total interest paid is $530,520. That's a difference of $147,960. Nearly $150,000 more for the same house, just because you had bad credit. Now, you might be thinking, well, that's fair. Bad credit means you're a higher risk. But here's what most people don't realize. Bad credit doesn't always mean you're irresponsible. Sometimes it means you got sick and couldn't pay medical bills. Sometimes it means your car broke down and you had to choose between fixing it or paying your credit card. And the system responds by charging you more money, which makes it even harder to recover. That's not a risk assessment. That's a poverty trap. The median rent in America is now around $1,700 per month. That's $20,400 per year. And at the end of the year, you have nothing. Meanwhile, someone who can afford a down payment buys a house. Their mortgage might be $1,500 a month. But here's the difference. They're building equity. After 30 years, they own a $400,000 asset. You paid over $600,000 in rent and you own nothing. But Matthew, I can't afford a down payment. I know, that's exactly my point. If you're spending every dollar on rent and bills, you can't save for a down payment. But because you can't buy, you have to rent, which keeps you from saving. This is a cycle. According to a 2023 report by the Urban Institute, it would take the median renter household 8.5 years to save enough for a 10% down payment, assuming they could save 5% of their income. But most renters can't save 5% because they're spending it all on rent. When you don't have money, you can't buy in bulk. You can't stock up when things are on sale. So you end up paying more for everything. Single bottle at a gas station, $2.5024. Pack at Costco, $5.99, 25 cents per bottle. If you're buying one bottle at a time because you don't have $6 to spend on a 24-pack, or because you don't have a Costco membership, or because you don't have a car to get there, you're paying 10 times more per bottle. This applies to everything. Toilet paper, laundry detergent, rice. Everything is more expensive per unit when you can't afford to buy in bulk. According to a 2020 study, low-income shoppers pay approximately 13% more for groceries per unit compared to higher-income shoppers. If you're spending $400 a month on groceries, that's an extra $624 per year. Look, the poor tax is real, and it's designed to keep you exactly where you are. But you're not powerless. First, get a bank account. Even a bare-bones account at a credit union. Being in bank costs you over $1,000 a year. Second, obsess over your credit score. Every 10-point increase saves you money. Pay everything on time, even if it's the minimum. Dispute errors on your credit report. Get a secured credit card if you have to. Third, buy in bulk whenever possible. If you have $50 and need laundry detergent, buy the huge bottle for $18 instead of the small one for $6. Yes, it hurts now, but it lasts 5 times longer. Fourth, eliminate subscriptions ruthlessly. Every $10 per month subscription is $120 a year. That could be your emergency fund, which prevents overdraft fees. Fifth, track every dollar. Write down everything you spend for 1 month. Those $3 coffees, that's $1,080 a year. 6. Find ways to increase income. An extra $200 a month is $2,400 a year. That's the difference between being trapped and having breathing room. 7th, build a $1,000 emergency fund. This prevents payday loans, overdraft fees, late fees, all the emergency poor tax situations. The poor tax exists because it's profitable. Banks make billions on overdraft fees. Lenders make billions on high-interest loans. There's an entire industry built on extracting wealth from people who have the least to give. I'm not saying this to make you feel helpless. You need to understand what you're up against. The game is rigged, but you can still win. You just have to play smarter. Every dollar you save in fees is a dollar you can use to build wealth. Every percentage point you improve your credit score is money in your pocket. The poor tax is real. You've been paying it your whole life. $40,000 over your lifetime just for being poor. But now you know. You're not stupid. You're not lazy. You're operating in a system that charges you more for everything and then blames you for not getting ahead. But you can change this. Not overnight, but consistently, one decision at a time. Now, I mentioned building that $1,000 emergency fund, and you might be thinking that's the magic number that fixes everything. But here's something that's going to blow your mind. There's actually a point where saving too much cash can hurt you worse than having no savings at all. I know that sounds crazy, but the math on this is wild. I'm breaking down exactly when your emergency fund stops protecting you and starts costing you thousands in my next video. The emergency fund lie, when saving too much actually hurts you. You need to see this before you make a massive mistake with your money. If this video helped you, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, and tell me which part of the poor tax has hit you the hardest. I believe you can win this fight.